I never thought a simple phone call could upend my life like a sudden dust storm in the Montana Badlands. That morning, I was nursing a lukewarm cup of coffee in my tiny apartment in Billings, staring at the classifieds on my laptop. I'd been let go from my teaching job at the local high school 3 months back. Budget cuts, they said, and the silence of unemployment was starting to feel like a personal failure. My fingers drummed the table, my mind racing through bills and what-ifs. When the phone buzzed, Mom's name flashed on the screen. I answered with a hesitant hello. Her voice came through crisp and commanding, like she was issuing orders from the ranch office. Darling, we've got a situation. Your dad,
Victoria. Jack.
and I are heading to Hawaii for a quick getaway, business mixed with some R&R. We need you to watch Isabella. I froze, coffee mug halfway to my lips. Isabella? The niece who'd been bedridden and mute for 5 years? What do you mean? Watch her? She's got caregivers. Mom sighed, that impatient edge creeping in. Her nurse quit unexpectedly. You're not tied down with a job or kids.
Mia.
It's just a week. We've already booked the flights. No question. No negotiation, just an assumption that I'd drop everything. Again. Inside, a familiar knot twisted in my gut. Why was it always me, the reliable one, the quiet sister who never rocked the boat? I remembered family barbecues where Victoria got all the praise for the ranch's success, even though I'd spent summers mending fences and tending horses while she networked in town.
Jack.
The golden boy bragged about his real estate deals, and Dad clapped him on the back.
Me?
I was the helper in the shadows. Okay, I muttered, hating how easily the word slipped out. Habit, I guess, or that deep-seated guilt that whispered I owed them for being the easy child. By noon the next day, a pickup truck from the ranch pulled up.
No fanfare.
I tossed my bag in the back and climbed in, the drive to our family's spread in the Montana foothills feeling longer than the 2 hours it took. The ranch house loomed like a fortress, sprawling log beams, wide porches overlooking endless pastures, but it always felt cold, more like a showpiece than a home. Victoria's instructions waited on the kitchen counter, a neat binder with tabs for meds, meals, and emergencies. A post-it in her looping script, keep her on schedule, don't let her get agitated. Agitated? Isabella hadn't spoken or moved much since the accident 5 years ago. Or so they said. A fall from a horse, they claimed, leaving her with severe neurological damage. I found her in the sunroom, wheelchair angled toward the window, gazing at the rolling hills. 8 years old, pale skin, dark hair in a braid, hands limp in her lap. Hey, Izzy, I said softly, kneeling beside her. No response, just a slow blink. I fed her lunch per the routine, spooning oatmeal carefully, my mind wandering to why a kid would end up like this. Was it really the fall? Or something more? That night, as I unpacked in the guest room, I spotted a sketchpad on the nightstand, half filled with crude drawings, horses, mountains done with a steady hand.
Oh.
Since everyone insisted she couldn't grip a pencil, I shrugged it off, but a whisper of doubt lingered. Why pretend everything's fine when it feels off? Sleep came fitfully, the house creaking like old bones in the wind. Around midnight, I heard footsteps, soft, deliberate, pacing the hall. Heart pounding. I cracked my door. The hallway was empty, but Isabella's door, which I'd closed, stood ajar. I peeked in. She was still in her chair, unmoving. Back in bed, I stared at the ceiling, my thoughts churning. What if she's not as helpless as they say? What if I'm just imagining things because I'm lonely? Overlooked?
No.
I told myself, pushing down the rising panic. Observe. Don't assume. The next morning, sunlight flooded the kitchen as I brewed coffee. Isabella sat in her spot, staring blankly. I dropped a fork on purpose, clatter on tile, and saw it, a twitch in her shoulder. Eyes flicking toward the sound. My breath caught. Not reflex, awareness. Inside, conflict raged. If she's faking.
Why?
Fear? Manipulation? I jotted it in a notebook I'd grabbed from my bag. Day 2. Reaction to noise. Eyes shifted. It felt like spying, but also like protecting her, and maybe myself from the family's web of half-truths. That afternoon, while she napped, I rifled through the hall closet and used medical supplies, crutches, braces, gathered dust. Invoices tucked away showed deliveries to a PO. Box in Bozeman. Not the ranch. Why redirect? My mind spiraled. Fraud? Covering tracks? I snapped photos. Heart racing with guilt. Am I betraying them? Or uncovering something they buried? Dinner was silent. I studied her over soup, wondering what horrors she'd endured to stay so still. That night, another sound, a faint rustle. I crept to her room. She was awake, eyes wide in the moonlight. Izzy, I whispered. No words, but a single tear tracked down her cheek. It hit me like a gut punch. She's trapped. In her body. In this family. I sat by her bed, whispering promises I wasn't sure I could keep. I see you. Inside. My own tears threatened. All my life. I'd been the invisible one. Why did it take her silence to make me speak up? The days blurred into a tense routine. I documented everything. Another flinch at a slammed door. A coloring page under her pillow with precise strokes. Why hide talent? To survive. Maybe. My thoughts turned inward, heavy with regret. I'd let them sideline me for years. Victoria's charity galas raising funds for poor Izzy, Dad's ranch empire built on image. Was it all a scam? One evening, I found a hidden camera in the ceiling vent, red light blinking. Watching who, her? Or me? Paranoia clawed at me. Are they monitoring to keep the lie alive? I disabled it. Hands shaking. That night, Izzy whispered her first word. Help. My world tilted. Help from what? The family that paraded her suffering for donations? I held her hand, vowing silently, I won't look away. But doubt gnawed. What if exposing this destroys us all? The weight of Izzy's whisper lingered like smoke after a brush fire, choking my thoughts. Help. One word, but it carried years of unspoken pain. I lay awake that night, replaying family memories that now felt tainted. Christmases at the ranch. Victoria beaming as she accepted checks for Izzy's care fund, while I wrapped gifts in the background. Dad's gruff praise for Jack's land deals. Never a nod to my teaching degree. Mom's subtle digs. Mia's so independent, doesn't need the spotlight. Independent? Or erased?
Now.
With Izzy's tear-streaked face in mind, anger simmered. They weren't just overlooking me. They were using her.
But why?
Money?
Control?
I needed proof. Not hunches. Next morning, I called an old friend from college, Delaney, now a family lawyer in Missoula. Something's off here. I confided over the phone. Voice low. She's responding, but the family acts like she's vegetative. And there are these invoices. Delaney listened, then advised, document everything. If it's abuse or fraud, we involve Child Protective Services. But be careful, Montana law protects guardians unless there's clear evidence. Her words fueled my resolve. But fear twisted inside. What if they turn it on me? Call me unstable? I spent the day searching the study, Dad's domain. Locked drawers yielded to a spare key I remembered from childhood. Inside, bank statements for the Hope for Izzy Foundation. Thousands in donations. But outflows to luxury items, spa retreats, Hawaiian tickets. My stomach churned. They were siphoning funds meant for her care. A draft medical report caught my eye. Patient shows potential for recovery with therapy. But the official one on file? Irreversible degeneration. Forged? Confrontation brewed in my chest. But I held back. Instead, I tested Izzy gently. Blink if you understand, I whispered during lunch. 2 blinks. My heart soared and broke. Why pretend? 1 blink, no. 2, yes, but slowly. Fear. Her eyes said.
Of them.
That afternoon, while she rested, I emailed Delaney scans of the docs. This could be guardianship fraud, she replied. File a report anonymously first. Anonymously? It felt cowardly, but necessary. As I hit send to CPS, guilt flooded me. Am I shattering the family for good? Or saving what's left? Evening brought more whispers from Izzy. They gave me pills. Made me sleepy. Sedatives? To keep her compliant? Rage boiled. Mixed with sorrow. How could my sister, Victoria, always the perfect one, do this? Jealousy I'd buried resurfaced. She'd always gotten everything, including the right to exploit. The next day, tension escalated. A package arrived, more unused meds, billed to the fund. I photographed it, adding to my growing file. Izzy drew a picture that night. A girl in a wheelchair. Family figures with dark faces.
Thumb, she mouthed.
My mind raced with scenarios. Victoria staging photos for fundraisers. Dad signing off on lies for tax breaks. Montana's wide-open spaces suddenly felt claustrophobic. The ranch a prison of secrets. I confronted my inner demons. You've always played small.
Mia.
Afraid to demand more. But for her, I had to be bigger. Delaney called back. CPS is investigating quietly. Get her evaluated by an independent doc. I arranged it secretly, driving Izzy to a clinic in Billings under the guise of a routine check. The doctor confirmed, no degeneration, trauma-induced selective mutism and partial paralysis from neglect. Not injury. With therapy, she could walk, he said. Tears stung my eyes. They'd stolen her childhood. Back home, Izzy stood for the first time, wobbly, but defiant.
I
Can, she rasped. Pride swelled in me. But so did terror. What if they find out? That night, a text from Victoria. How's our angel? Send pics. I sent a staged one. Heart heavy with deception.
Inside.
Conflict raged, loyalty to blood versus justice. Blood had betrayed us both. The following morning, CPS knocked. 2 agents. Badges flashing. Routine welfare check. I showed them the evidence. Voice steady despite the storm inside. They interviewed Izzy privately. She nodded through tears. As they left, one said, "This looks serious. Stay put." Relief washed over me. But doubt lingered. Will they believe a kid over a prominent family? Dad's influence in ranching circles was deep. Days dragged, filled with hushed talks. Izzy opened up more. Aunt Vic slapped me when I tried to stand. Abuse. My fury peaked. But I channeled it into care, reading stories, encouraging steps. Inwardly, I grieved the family I'd idealized. Mom's calls grew insistent. Everything okay? Lies slipped easier. Fine. But the weight crushed me. What kind of person deceives their mother? One protecting the innocent. I told myself. Delaney filed for emergency custody on my behalf, citing fraud and endangerment. The hearing loomed, my nerves frayed. That evening, Izzy hugged me, first real contact. "Thank you," she whispered. In that moment, my purpose crystallized. Not revenge, but redemption. For her.
For me.
The drama of our unraveling family felt like a Western showdown. But the stakes were hearts, not guns. The courthouse in Bozeman felt like a relic from an old Western film, wood-paneled walls echoing with footsteps. The air thick with anticipation. I sat in the waiting area, Delaney beside me, my hands clasped to hide the tremble.
Inside.
A whirlwind. Am I ready to air our dirty laundry? To label my family criminals? But Izzy's small hand in mine during the drive here steadied me. She'd whispered, "I'm scared," and I'd replied, "Me too. But we're in this together." The judge, a stern man with a mustache like a cattle baron,
called us in.
Victoria and Dad Garrett now. In my mind, not family, sat opposite, lawyers flanking them. Mom and Jack were absent, perhaps too ashamed. Evidence piled up, forged reports, embezzled funds. The slap video from a hidden ranch camera I'd found and submitted. Delaney presented methodically. Under Montana law, guardianship fraud is a felony. The respondents exploited Isabella for financial gain, administering unnecessary sedatives to maintain the illusion. Victoria's face crumpled, but her eyes flashed defiance. Garrett stared ahead, jaw set. My turn to testify. I saw her flinch.
Draw. Stand.
They kept her silent for donations. The cross-examination stung. Their lawyer sneered. Isn't this resentment? You, the overlooked sister? Pain lanced through me, yes. Resentment simmered. But truth burned brighter. No, I said firmly. It's justice. Izzy didn't testify. Too fragile. But her recorded statement played. They made me pretend. For money. The room hushed. The judge ruled. Temporary custody to me. Investigation ongoing. Relief flooded. But sorrow too. This victory fractured us irreparably. Back at the ranch, now under lock pending review, tension crackled. Victoria cornered me in the kitchen. How could you? We're family. Her voice broke, but mine held. Family doesn't cage a child. Inside. Pity stirred. Was she a victim of Garrett's ambition too? He built the ranch empire on image, charity galas, tax write-offs. That night, Izzy slept soundly for the first time.
No meds.
I watched her. Thoughts heavy. Forgiveness? Maybe. But not forgetfulness. The next day, reporters swarmed the gate. Headlines: Ranch family accused of faking child's illness for funds. Donations halted. The foundation shuddered. Garrett called. You'll regret this. Threat? Or desperation? I hung up, heart pounding. Delaney warned. They might countersue for defamation. Fear gripped me. What if I lose her? But resolve hardened. No turning back. We moved to a small cabin in the foothills. Rented anonymously. Izzy thrived physical therapy. Speech sessions. She walked short distances. Laughed at horse videos. But nightmares plagued her. Don't make me sit still.
Det hold her.
Whispering, you're free. My own demon surfaced. Therapy for me revealed suppressed anger. You've been the scapegoat, the counselor said. Truth hurt, but healed. One afternoon, Jack texted. I didn't know the extent. I'm cooperating with investigators. Betrayal stung. Why now? But gratitude flickered. He provided emails proving Garrett's orchestration. Human after all? Mom visited unannounced. Tears in her eyes. I turned a blind eye. We talked for hours. Her regrets. My pain. No full absolution, but a crack in the wall. Can I see her? She asked. I nodded. Cautiously. Izzy met her grandma warily, but warmed when Mom read a story. I missed you, Izzy said. Mom sobbed. Inwardly, I wrestled. Trust again? Slowly. The investigation deepened. CPS found over-medication evidence, leading to charges. Garrett fought, but evidence mounted. Victoria pleaded guilty to lesser counts. Community service. At her sentencing, she approached. I'm sorry.
Mia.
For everything. Tears fell. Hers genuine? Mine too. Get help, I said. Not forgiveness, but a step. Garrett's trial loomed. He'd lose the ranch. Perhaps freedom. Pity mixed with justice. He built on lies. Now they crumbled. Through it all, Izzy blossomed, school enrollment, friends. One evening, she drew a family portrait, us two, plus tentative figures for others. Maybe someday, she said. Hope stirred in me. The drama faded, replaced by quiet growth. But lessons lingered. Silence enables abuse. Speaking up saves souls. My heart, once heavy with resentment, lightened with purpose. We'd rebuild, not the old family, but a new one, rooted in truth. Months blurred into a rhythm of healing, the Montana sunsets painting our cabin in warm hues that soften the scars. Izzy started school, a small district program for kids with trauma histories. Her first day, she clutched my hand. What if they think I'm weird? I knelt. Eyes level. You're brave. That's what they'll see. Inside. Anxiety churned. Would the past haunt her? But she returned beaming, chattering about a girl named Lily who shared crayons. Pride swelled, eclipsing old doubts. Therapy sessions peeled layers. For her, processing the forced stillness. For me, unraveling years of familial neglect. You internalized their dismissal, my therapist noted. Truth resonated. I dimmed my light to avoid conflict. Now, advocating for Izzy ignited it. Garrett's trial unfolded like a slow-burn drama in the Bozeman courtroom. I testified again. Voice steady. He orchestrated the fraud, using her suffering as a shield. Evidence overwhelmed. Bank trails. Witness statements, including Jack's.
Victoria.
Already sentenced. Testified against him. I followed his lead. Out of fear. Betrayal's sting faded into understanding. She'd been trapped too. Garrett glared. But his empire cracked. Convicted of fraud and endangerment. He got 3 years probation. Fines stripping the ranch. It's sold at auction. Proceeds went to child welfare charities. Poetic justice? Or bittersweet? He called once. You destroyed us. I replied softly. You destroyed yourself.
Not I.
Just closure. Inside. Empathy flickered. Power corrupted him. But he was still blood. Mom integrated slowly, weekly visits. Baking cookies with Izzy. I failed you both, she admitted one afternoon. Hands kneading dough. Tears fell into the flour. Forgive me? Izzy hugged her. Yes, Grandma. My heart thawed. Not overnight. But genuinely. Jack distanced, but sent checks for Izzy's therapy, no strings. Victoria sought treatment for her issues, volunteering at a real shelter. A letter arrived. Thank you for stopping the cycle. Redemption? Possible. I pondered inwardly. Can broken bonds mend? With effort. Yes. Our new life flourished. I tutored part-time, rediscovering passion for teaching. Izzy rode horses again. Tentatively. Her laughter echoing across pastures. Faster, she'd yell. Wind in her hair. Watching. Joy overwhelmed me. This was the future we'd fought for. One crisp fall day, we hiked the foothills. Izzy paused at a vista. Why did they do it? Honesty compelled. Greed.
Fear.
But mostly, they lost sight of love. She nodded, wise beyond years. We have love now. Tears pricked, yes.
We did.
That evening, a family dinner, Mom, Jack, surprisingly, even Victoria, via video.
Tentative longue.
Shared stories. No full reconciliation, but seeds planted. Inwardly, gratitude bloomed. The drama taught us vulnerability's strength. As winter approached, Izzy's school hosted a play. She landed a speaking role. Nerves hit. What if I freeze? I reassured. You've already conquered silence. Her performance shone, clear voice, confident steps. Applause roared, my cheers loudest. Afterward, she hugged me. You believed in me. Truth. She taught me to believe in myself. The final court seal came. Permanent guardianship mine.
No contests.
Freedom official. We celebrated with a bonfire, roasting marshmallows under stars. Stories flowed. Izzy's dreams of becoming a vet. My plans for a community literacy program. Mom's shared regrets. I prioritized image over heart. Lessons echoed. Family isn't blood alone. It's choice. Forgiveness. Inside, peace settled. The revenge I'd once craved evolved into compassion. Not forgetting, but growing beyond. As embers died, Izzy whispered, I'm happy. So was I profoundly, deeply. The western winds carried away old pains, leaving space for new beginnings. Spring thawed the Montana ground, mirroring the melt in our hearts. Izzy's therapy wrapped. She walked unaided, spoke fluently, a testament to resilience. School thrived. She joined 4-H, raising a calf named Sunny. He's like me, stronger than he looks, she said. Laughter filled our cabin, banishing shadows. I launched a tutoring nonprofit, aiding rural kids with learning challenges. Purpose fueled me, from overlooked to advocate. Family ties mended unevenly. Mom moved nearby, helping with chores. Redeeming lost time, she called it. Jack visited sporadically, sharing ranch tales minus the gloss.
Victoria. Post-rehab.
Started a legit foundation for abused kids. Inspired by you, she texted. Garrett served probation quietly, selling off assets. A rare call. I was wrong. Apology? Close enough.
No hatred linagert. Pity.
Perhaps. For a man felled by his ego. One summer day, we picnicked by the Yellowstone River. Izzy skipped stones. Do you miss the old family? Honesty. Parts. But not the lies. She nodded. Me too. Inward reflection. The ordeal forged us, teaching that silence breeds suffering. Truth liberates. We volunteered together at a shelter. Izzy comforted a scared girl. It's okay to speak up. Echoes of her past. But empowering. My heart swelled. She'd become the healer. As seasons turned, bonds deepened. A family reunion small.
Honest.
Laughter over barbecue.
No pretenses.
Mom hugged me. Proud of you. First time hearing it. Tears flowed. Validation. Finally. The story's lesson crystallized. Betrayal wounds. But forgiveness heals, not blindly, but with boundaries. Izzy's courage inspired. My voice. Found late. Echoed far. We hiked to a peak one dawn, watching sunrise gild the Rockies. New day, she said. Indeed. The drama's echo faded. leaving humanity's warmth. In the end, we weren't victims or victors, just survivors, richer for the scars. Reflections deepened as fall returned. Izzy's school project, a story about hidden strengths. Like us, she beamed. Reading it, emotion surged, her words captured our journey's essence. Community embraced us, locals donated to my program. Inspired by headlines turned positive, from fraud to freedom. Garrett's final act, a trust fund for Izzy.
Redemption?
Accepted. Mom confided regrets over coffee. I enabled it all. We cried. Hugged, bridges rebuilt.
Victoria visited. Tentative.
Can we start over? Izzy, slowly. Wisdom in youth. Winter brought quiet joys, snowmen. Hot cocoa. Stories by fire. Izzy's nightmares rare, mine gone. Therapy's gift, self-worth. I dated casually, a kind rancher.
No ruse.
Life balanced. Spring renewal. Izzy's first rodeo. Cheering barrel racers. I want to ride like that. We enrolled her in lessons. Fear met.
Conquered.
My nonprofit grew. Grants rolled in. Purpose profound. Culminating. A book deal offer. Our story. Anonymized. To help others, Izzy urged. We wrote together.
Cathartic.
Publication day. Nerves, but triumph. Reviews praised humanity. Lesson woven. In betrayal's wake. Choose growth. Family isn't perfect, it's persistent love. As we watched stars one night, Izzy said, we're okay. More than okay, whole. The Western spirit, resilient, vast, mirrored our souls. Endings birthed beginnings, pain, wisdom. And in that,
True peace.